Right, happy Thursday, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Mic check. Audio is good. Everything's looking schmexy. Let's get the announcements out. Ready to go. Get that set up there. All right. There we go. Boom, right there. Boom, right there. Boom, right there. All right, get it all ready to go. All set. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, bada binga. There we go. All right. Good. Let's see if we're on X. Are we live on the X? Yes, we are. We are live on the X to make sure the audio works. All right. Yes, the audio does work. Good, good. All righty, all righty, all righty. All right. There we go. Let's get the announcements up on X. All right. There we go. All right. There we are. Bop right there. Let's see. Let's make sure we're live on the Twitch. Are we live on the Twitch? Yes, we are live on the Twitch. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. All right. There we go. All right. All right. All right. There we go. Get everything all set up right there. All right, boom and boom. All right, we're all set to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready here. What's up, guys? It's Double Nicks, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I'm your host with the most. They call me DBL Nicks in the house, aka the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Other times she gets shot out the cannon and she goes wee. Other times she likes to party, go to Arby's and Wendy's. And sometimes she likes to watch videos of puppies and kitties. And, other times she likes to steal my low mean. We'll throw her in the stock market. She'll find them A, B, C, Ds. She did call out some wonderful stonks like ATHA, UGRO, BIXI, and EVTV. We call her TV Moms! Yeesh. So, that's what we got going on, folks. That's what we got going on. So, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. Hold on one second. Yes, sir. Okay, good. We are on the right area here. Yes. All right. So before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. Of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Yes, sir. All right. Good morning, Night. Good morning. How you doing, man? Good morning, Night. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, sir. All right. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. So let's take a look at some of the stonks that we called early in the morning. Early in the morning, we called out BIXI. BIXI. We called it. It ran up a nice 76%. 76% right there. Ran up a nice 76%. BIXI. There we go. Right there. We called it. Ran up a nice, prior to it running up a nice 76%. We called ATHA. ATHA, that stock ran up a nice 69 nice percent right there. 69% right there. UGRO, we also called out UGRO. UGRO. We call that one out. It ran up a nice 66%. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. So let's take a look at ATHA. ATHA. Let's see how ATHA is doing right here. ATHA did have a bit of kind of consolidation earlier in the day, but then pretty much started moving up nicely over here. So let me get the graffiti pencil activated. Bop right here. All right, shot up all the way to $7.90, then proceeds to kind of climb back down a little bit, and then formed this pennant right over here as it consolidated along the VWAP at $6.68 currently as of this point. Needs to break above the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Let's get some graffiti pencil activated. Bop right here and bop right here. All right, so as of now, you got support at $6.35. You got the VWAP at $6.72, of which this stunk is currently kind of consolidated against. You got the resistance point at $6.96, and then you got resistance at $7.93. Real deal. Welcome. Hello. How you doing? All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Okay, so let's get a share party going on here. Let me just put this in here. ATHA, ATHA, consolidated along the VWAPA, needs to break the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. Let's take a look at UGRO. 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 Just like with the private Discord, we like to watch everybody grow. You know what I mean? Ha ha! Get it? Got you grow? You grow? All right. All right. I made the funny. Anyways, so UGRO up 33% as of now, had a high of 66%, has unconfirmed Q4 earnings coming out in 12 days from now on December 30th after the market is to close. All right, currently this stock was above the VWAP at one point in time. It was above the VWAP right here. Bot right there. And then basically afterwards fell below the VWAP right about here. So right now it's got a bit of a descending wedge going on. Needs to break above that descending wedge and needs to break above that VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. Let's get a share party going on over here. Let's get a share party, share party, share party. There we go. All right. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on. All right. So as of now, that's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we got going on. Okay. So let's take a look over here. Let us take a look over here. 1 second. Ooh, accidentally clicked out of something. There we go. All right, so UGRO needs to break above that descending wedge. Also needs to break above that little VWAPA over there for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Has to break above that. All right, so as of now, UGRO, hold on. UGRO needs to break above the descending wedge and the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. UGRO has support at 39 cents, needs to break above 42 cents, the VWAP at 43 cents, 45 cents, and then 51 cents for it to really be so much schmexy to mya. Hello, Marty. Good morning. Good morning, Marty. How you doing? Hello, can you check out ATHA? Of course I can. I can check out ATHA. Let's take a look at ATHA. ATHA. Let's take a look over here. ATHA. All right, so earlier we did say that ATHA was kind of consolidating along the VWAP, but well, now it's a little bit below the VWAP. It's kind of been like above the VWAP, below the VWAP, along the VWAP, so it has been kind of doing its thing there. It's just been consolidated along the VWAP as of now. Let's check and see if there's any news for the stonk right here. Let's check and see if there's any news. All right, so ATHA announced an exclusive license to lasofoxifene phase 3 development program for metastatic breast cancer candidate and a financing of up to $236 million. So they got that going on right there, and they're to acquire the rights for the development and commercialization of lasofoxifene, a clinical asset in potentially registrational phase 3 trial. They also filed a general corporate statement in the form of a Form 8, and currently, yeah, they got that new licensing agreement as well as some additional funding. So yeah, they got that going on. That is what they got going on. ATHA currently up 60%. 60% right there. Right there, right there, right there. Let's take a look at the float and volume. The float is 3 million. Volume is 15 million. So the volume is good, ladies and gentlemen. I think it might be a little bit halted, though, because it has been stuck at 662 for quite some time. Hasn't moved up, hasn't moved down. Actually, wait, nope, not halted at all. It's kind of just like, little bit of a, yeah, a little bit of consolidation. But, all right. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. So ATHA, as of now, ATHA still needs to break above that pennant right there. All right. So ATHA needs to. Oh, okay. All right. Give me 1 second, James. I'll answer your question right away. Give me 1 second. Needs to break the VWAP. Right there. All right. So let me read what James Vincent has to say here. All right. So, yes. So, oh, of course. James Vincent asks, excuse my lack of knowledge, but what is VWAP? Okay, so VWAP is basically also known as the volume weighted average. What it does is it takes the volume, right, and mixes it with the, what's it called there? It basically takes the volume, right, and it's a key technical indicator that shows the average price of a stock, normally over the period of a day, right? And it's usually weighted utilizing trading volume, uh, utilizing market sentiment. It utilizes things like the market sentiment and the value, right? It'll help traders, right? They'll gauge if they're going to buy or sell at a good price. So whether it's above or below the VWAP, right? So it helps traders spot like trends that support and resistance levels, and support and resistance levels as well by basically reflecting how much volume would drive price charges. It basically takes the volume, right, the average volume, and utilizes it as somewhat of a, how do I put it? A gauge. Above VWAP is generally bullish, below VWAP is generally bearish. Oh, yes. Basically, above VWAP is normally bullish, right? So if something is above the VWAP, like for example, this stock right here is above the VWAP, all right, somewhat, that would be bullish, right? If it falls below the VWAP, which is this purple line right here, it's bearish. So that's what we got going on right there. There's volume. Yes. There's no, yeah. So basically, if something is above the VWAP, it needs volume. If it's below the VWAP, it doesn't. It needs below. Yes. So if it's above VWAP, it's good. Has volume, right? If it's below the VWAP, does not have volume. So that's what we got going on right there. All right. So that's what the VWAP is. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out the 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. James says, thank you for explaining. Of course, man. Our pleasure. And ladies and gentlemen, when you join the 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners, as well. And when you join the real-time alerts and scanners, you actually get access to these wonderful scanners over here, because we love to give out the tools, right? We give out the tools for the job. All right, you get access to this wonderful scanner over here that basically scans all the stocks in the market and kind of gives the ones that we're normally looking at, right? And to top it off, you get access to the newsroom, both of which, by the way, have hyperlinks. All right, this one over here, this scanner right here, has access to the percentage change, the time in which it was scanned, whether the stock is moving up or down, right? And then the ticker, price, volume, float, etc. has access to all that stuff. Hyperlinks over here that give you access to the charts, news, etc., as well as all the information right over here. Not to mention the fact that you also get access to this wonderful newsroom right over here, which gives access to basically these little articles over here. Like, for example, this one right here, JP Morgan downgrading to well tower to neutral, announcing a $205 price target. So they got that going on right there. That's what these guys got going on, right? Has a little hyperlink to it, so you can check out the full article, gives you a little synopsis of the article, and gives you the ticker that is affected by the news within said article. And to top it off, ladies and gentlemen, you get access to the stock ticker tape, which is basically the tickers that we are normally looking at right there. You get access to a wonderful community, educational content right there. So yeah, you got that all going on right there. So link to join is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. And if you want to join the Wealth Builder program, you get basically everything in the real-time alerts and scanners program and more, ladies and gentlemen. You get access to the wonderful, amazing, indelible community. All right, you get access to everything in the real-time alerts and scanners program. Plus, you get access to exclusive content as well. Wealth Builder exclusive content, Wealth Builder exclusive picks, Wealth Builder exclusive access to Coach and myself, and Wealth Builder exclusive access to certain Wealth Builder channels, educational content, and by educational content, I mean an entire educational course with over 400 videos of basically videos that consist of analysis. It consists of SPY analysis. It consists of stock analysis. It consists of basically terminology that is good for new traders or experienced traders that just want a refresher, or you never know, always. So also access, you get also access, excuse me, I'm speaking like you're the access you get. Ooh, yes. You get access to also some scripts as well. You get behind the scenes content, etc. You get access to the scripts that go into the videos and things of that nature. You get access to all that stuff all by clicking the link in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. Be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. James Vincent says, I'm getting that subscription after Christmas. Yeah, man, definitely get that subscription, man. It's great. It's educational content and tools, man. Yeah. And of course, let us know that you are coming in, man. Let us know that you're coming in from the live stream. All right. So yeah, make sure to let us know, man. That way we can definitely show love. You know what I mean? Show love, and we can help you out, man. We can help you out. All right, we can help you out. Show lots of love, all that good stuff, man. So yeah, that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. So yeah, that's ATHA right now. ATHA. So as of now, we got ATHA on the scanner over here. Let's take a look at SPAI in the meantime while ATHA is kind of doing its thing here. SPAI currently up 19% as of now. Fell below the VWAP. Was a bit gappy over here, a little bit gappy. The 9 EMA did converge with the VWAP, but then fell below the VWAP as well. So now the stock is currently below the VWAP. Needs some volume for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. But as of now, let's take a look over here. Let's see if it's got any news. Does it have any news, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see if it's got any news. So the float for this stock is 13 million. Volume is 2 million. So it's got that going on right there. So it's very low on volume right there. Let's see if it's got any news. SPAI has news that Safe Pro stock surges up 45% after hours following an AI threat detection patent application. So they had that going on, but that was actually earlier today. So we got that going on for this news, the news over here. So it's signed up on a patent right there. So we got that going on right there. Currently, though, this stock is below the VWAP. Needs some volume for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. All right, so what we got going on right here, bot right there. All right, let's get some support and resistance lines right here. Boom. Okay, so we got support at $3.56. As of now, 9 EMA is currently at 378, which is good. All right, you got the resistance right here at 381, which, by the way, SPAI is poking above the resistance as of now, moving towards the VWAP, which is at 393. Then after that, it has resistance at 399, 417, 438, and then 474, all of which you can get by, checking that out right there. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on with this stock. So as of now, SPAI needs to just broke above the resistance a little bit. Broke above the resistance just a bit. It broke above that $3.81 resistance line. Needs to break the VWAP, though, for it to be so much mexi to me. So SPAI needs to break the VWAP. Needs to stay above the former resistance line for it to be so much mexi to me. I sound like Starscream for a second there. The line. Yes, good. The line. You will hold the line. Yeah, okay, all right. No. I mean, yeah, it could be Palpatine, but no, it sounded like more like Transformers Prime Starscream, which was kind of glorious. But at the same time, do it. Yeah, actually, yeah, it does sound like Palpatine. You're right. All right, so James Vincent asks, did you look at PAVS? I have not yet. Let's take a look at PAVS. So, all right, so PAVS as of now is down 3%, but it is a bit choppy as well, a little bit choppy. It had a couple of indecisive wicks here, right? Actually, you know what? Right over here, it had some indecisive wicks, right? And it had indecisive wicks right over here. So it had some indecisive wicks there and there, as well as one indecisive wick right over here. So had that going on right there. So it has a couple of indecisive wicks going on with it. So PAVS, as of now, let's take a look and see about the float. Float is 66 million, 66.7 million. So it's a little bit heavy in terms of float. Volume is 158.1 million. So we got that going on right there. So the volume is a lot higher than the float. That's good, but the float is still a bit heavy. So we got that going on. Let's see if it's got any news, though, for PAVS. PAVS, as of now, let's see. Yesterday, it gained 0.87 in pre-market trading on Wednesday, trading to 0.023 cents, so about 2 cents and change. All right. And basically had some reverse split mechanics right there, announcing on Tuesday that it would execute a 1-for-100 reverse share split of Class A ordinary shares effective at market open on Thursday, which is today, ladies and gentlemen. The reverse split will reduce the number of outstanding Class A shares from 350 million to approximately 3.5 million, and shares will begin trading on a split-adjusted basis on NASDAQ under the symbol PAVS with a new QSIP number. All right, so it's got that going on right there. And the par value per share increased from 1 cent to $1. So we got that going on right there. Currently, though, it is down 3%. Needs to break above that. VWAP needs more volume for the stock to become somewhat schmexy to me. That's what we need to do right there. So PAVS needs to break above the VWAP. Needs more volume for it to be so much mexy to me. So that's what we got with PAVS. PAVS, that's what we got going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at ATHA. ATHA, and by the way, there's even more in-depth analysis on the private Discord, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is like the light stuff right here. This is the light work. All right. Let's take a look at ATHA. ATHA. Did it, ATHA, did it. All right, let's go over here. So, ATHA currently trying to break above, and James Vincent says, thank you. Of course, James. Of course, brother, of course. All right, so ATHA trying to curl above the pennant right now, trying to test that new resistance at $6.96 right there. So, ATHA broke above the VWAPA and curled a bit off the pennant. All right. Testing the new resistance line. The line. We must hold the line. Yes, good, Vader. Good. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to. I have to, man. It's Palpatine, man. He's like the coolest character ever. I know they hate on him, but like, you know, I mean, he is kind of the coolest Sith Lord ever. All right. Anyways, all right. UGRO currently curling up just below the VWAP still, but it is curling up, testing the resistance line at 42 cents. Testing the resistance at 42 cents. Needs to break above 42 cents and then break above 43 cents, which is where the VWAP is for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. So, as of now, UGRO up 42%. Up 42%. Had unconfirmed Q4 earnings due in 12 days. From now on to December 30th after the market closed. So we got that going on. UGRO just broke above the resistance, curled off the descending wedge, and is now trying to test the VWAP. So we got that going on right there. UGRO trying to, actually no, not trying, it did. UGRO curling above the descending wedge and breaking the resistance line, testing the VWAPA right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so we got that going on. Boom, right there. UGRO, MSS. Let's see how MSS is doing. Has Q2 earnings unconfirmed for in 12 days from now on to December 30th after the market closed. So it's got that going on right there. That is what it's got going on. Let's get a share party going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 300. Let's get the 300, ladies and gentlemen. MSS does not look like it has much volume. Has unconfirmed Q2 earnings due in 12 days on December 30th after the market closed. So we got that going on as well. Very, very gappy, very, very choppy, not looking too schmexy as of now. Let's take a look at the float. Float is 5.4 million. Volume is 449.6 thousand right there. So we got that going on right there. Volume is less than the float. Not looking too schmexy there. Needs some more volume. MSS has filed a 10Q on December 12th and filed a Formentee 10Q, which is also on December 12th. So it's got that going on right there, but that is old news. So as of now, MSS above the VWAP, moved up on low volume though. MSS moved up on low volume, moved up and broke the VWAPA on low volume right there, ladies and gentlemen, on low volume right there. So we got that going on. Let's take a look at another stock over here. MUU. Let's take a look at MUU. Currently above the VWAPA. Could use a little bit more volume, but it is on a slight uptrend right here. So MUU currently on a slight uptrend, up 29%. Up 29%. Has a float that is currently unknown at this time, but the volume is 375K. So it is moving up on low volume right there. So MUU moving up on low volume right there. Boom. Right there, right there, right there. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right, let's see what else we got. What else we got? MULL. Let's take a look at MULL. Let's see how it's doing. MULL, a lot of indecisive wicks on this one right here. A lot of indecisive wicks just above the VWAPA. Just above the VWAPA as of now. Currently up 29% right there. 29%. So MULL. Very choppy as of now, but up 29%. Looks like it also has some low volume at 57K with the volume. All right, so it's got that going on right there. That is what it's got going on. MULL. Moving up on a choppy uptrend with low volume. Volume right there. Low volume. Boom. Right there. There we go. Bop. All right. So that's MULL. Yes, let's get a shit party. Let's get the 400. Let's get the 400, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the party started right there. Yeesh. So let's take a look at let's take a look at BMNG. BMNG currently on an uptrend right now with 525K as the volume. Again, moving up on low volume right there. So we got that going on right there. BMNG currently up on some low volume. So BMNG moving up on the uptrend on low volume right there, ladies and gentlemen. All right. James Vincent asks, did you check out MU? MU or MUU? Because I checked out MUU. Let's see if there's an MU. I don't think there is, but if I think he means MUU, but I'll take a look. Oh, there is an MU. Okay, so Micron Technology Inc. All right, this stock is up 14% as of now. Micron shares are trading higher following the strong Q1 earnings and upbeat guidance. Multiple analysts raised their price targets following the report, so we got that going on right there. The stock is a bit expensive. It is $258 and change. I normally don't really look at these types of stocks because they're very expensive and pricey. So MU is one of those stocks that is kind of heavy in terms of price. Not something I personally would find schmexy. Me personally, I mean, but it is what it is there. All right. Currently, it is up and above the VWAP, though. I will give it that. It is above the VWAP. Let's get a look at the float and volume. The float is 1.1 billion with a B, which is very, very heavy. Volume is 3.8 million right there. So, I mean, MU is very, very heavy. Very, very heavy. Very high priced item as well as a very heavy float. So, we got that going on right there. So as of now, that's what we got going on. It is above the VWAP. I will give it that, but it is above the VWAP on low volume. So very heavy float, very low volume. MU moving up on low volume. Expensive with high float. So that's what we got going on for MU. All right. Let me actually go grab some water real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let me grab some water real quick. 1 second, ladies and gents. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. I am back. Just had to get something to drink real quick. Ooh, okay, good. So, that's what we got going on. Let's see. All right, let's take a look at MSS. MSS, let's take a look at it. James Vincent says, okay, good to know. Thanks, of course, of course. MSS currently up 43%, has unconfirmed Q2 earnings due in 12 days on December 30th after the market close. So they got that going on right there. MySon Solutions, that is the name of this company. It is very, very gappy, very, very low volume. Is up 43%, though. I will give it that. It is on the uptrend, but it's on the uptrend on 5 million float, 5 million volume. So the volume is the same as the float right now. So it's kind of even there. Normally with these stocks, though, me personally, I like it when the float is when the volume is a lot higher than the float. So we'll see what happens with this stock right here. It is kind of forming a bit of a double top right there. So it needs to break above this line at 61 cents for it to really be schmexy to mya. Has to hold above the VWAPA, which, right now it's kind of having a hard time doing right there. So MSS, as of now, had some low volume, needs more volume to continue to go upward, up 37% right there, up 37%, needs to curl and break through that line at 61 cents right there. So MSS right there needs volume. MSS needs volume to break back above the VWAPA. Yesh. Right there. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at a couple of crowd favorites since we're here. Someone requested ASST, so let's take a look at ASST. Was a bit barcoded right over here. Matter of fact, let me show the channel time. Channel time. It's channel time. Channel time right here with this bop and bop right here. Had a bit of a channel, a little bit of consolidation. Started to climb its way back up over Mya. So we got that going on. At least we have that going on right there. So let's see here. Bop, bop right there. Boom and boom. All right. Very choppy uptrend is above the VWAP. 9 EMA is diverging away from the VWAPA. So we got that going on right there. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 500. Let's get to 500, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 500, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. ASST currently though is kind of dropping right now, but did have a nice little uptrend though earlier had a choppy little uptrend right there. Needs more volume. ASST had a choppy uptrend, but needs more volume. Up 5%, up 5%. So it had that going on right there. Let's take a look at BYND. That one was another crowd favorite right there. Keep getting a lot of requests about this one. Again, this one is very, very, very choppy. A lot of barcoding with BYND. So we got that right there. Boom, right there. So BYND, a lot of barcoding, needs some serious volume right there. So BYND needs volume to break the barcoding and the channel right there. So that's what it needs to do right there. BYND open. Let's take a look at open because that one is another fan favorite that people have requested quite a bit of. So let's take a look at that. OPEN also kind of moving its way on up over here. All right. Has a bit of a descending wedge here, so we'll see what happens with this stock. We shall see what happens. I hope it curls up, but it looks like it's trying to kind of move towards the 9 EMA right now and also move towards the VWAPA. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, yesh. Yesh, yesh, and yesh. All right, all right, all right. So, yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. All right, all right, all right. There we go, right there. Okie dokie. All right. So, let's see over here. OPEN needs to break above that descending wedge right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. OPEN needs to break above the descending wedge and hold above the VWAPA. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right there. Right there. Okay, so let's take a look at something else right here. Let's take a look at MSOX. MSOX, how's MSOX doing right now? MSOX currently curling above the VWAP right now, doing so on low volume, 282K in terms of volume. Float right now is unavailable, but MSOX is curling above that low volume right there. So MSOX moving up on low volume. MSOX, there we go, moving up on low volume right there. So we got that going on. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 600. Let's get to 600, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 600. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, to be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share. Be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Yes, just need a drink of water. Little bit of water. All right, SPAI. How's SPAI looking right there? SPAI, as of now, hold on, has a bit of a doji, is below the VWAP still, so needs to break above that VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya, has to break above the VWAP. So, as of now, 9 EMA is still below the VWAP, needs to curl its way on up and touch that VWAP.
Doubles, we got a question in YouTube. Please check DJT. Merger news just came out for Trump's Truth Social stock DJT.
Ooh, okay. I'll take a look at it. I will take a look. All right. Let me just put this up over here. Oh, yeah. All right. I'll take a look at that. I will take a look at that. Let me just finish up over here. SPAI needs volume to break the VWAPA. And let's take a look at DJT. All right. DJT. Let's see. All right. So, all right. DJT. All right. Hashtia asks, hey, how are you? I'm doing well, Hashtia. I hope you're well. All right. So let's see. DJT, Trump Media and Technology Group Corp, is up 25% right there. 25% right there. All right. And has news the Trump Media and Technology Group shares are trading higher after the company signed a merger agreement with TAE Technologies. So they have a merger going on with Truth Social for TAE Technologies right there. So they got that going on right there. That is what they got going on. Boom, right here. It has a bit of a pennant going on right here and right here. As of now, currently is above the VWAPA. Hopefully it can stay above the VWAPA and break above the pennant right here for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. But yes, Trump Media and Technology Group shares are trading higher after the company had signed a merger agreement with TAE Technologies. Let's take a look at the float and volume. Float is 164.8 million in change, obviously. All right, and volume is 15.2 million. So as of now, the float is higher than the volume right there, but it does have some serious news going on in terms of a merger agreement. So we got that going on right there. DJT needs volume to stay above the VWAPA and break that pennant right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. So that's what DJT's got going on. Hashtia says dropping you a follow. Thank you, Hashtia. Thank you. All right. So, yes, we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. UGRO. Let's take a look at UGRO again. How's UGRO looking? UGRO currently still kind of, consolidated below the VWAPA right now. Still below the VWAPA. Bot right there. Let me fix this over. Bot right over here. Boom. All right, all right, all right, all right. So that's what we got going on. That is what we got going on. Okay, so let's take a look at another stock over here. All right, UGRO does have some well, doesn't have much in terms of the volume department, so UGRO needs to break above that VWAP and also needs to break above the resistance and hold at the support line currently at 39 cents. UGRO needs to hold right there. So UGRO needs to hold above the support line and break the resistance and VWAPA. So it has to do that for it to be so much maxi to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, all right, all right. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let me add them. Let me add them. All right, all right, all right. Let's see here. Let's see. What other stocks we got going on? What other stocks we got going on? All right. Let's see about requests over here, because I think we got a couple of requests. Got requests over here. All right. So, let's take a look. All right. Let's take a look at ATHA. ATHA, actually, ISSC seems to be moving in here a little bit. ISSC, let's take a look at ISSC. Currently 15 million float. Volume is 52,000, so it is moving up on some very low volume today. All right, ISSC moving up on low volume right over here. Currently has a conference call scheduled for today at 10 a.m. with Q4 earnings being released today before the market open. So we got that going on right there. ISSC, not really feeling this one too much. We'll see what happens. ISSC needs to remain friends with the trend. All right. So, needs to remain friends with the trend for it to be so much mexy to mia. There we go. There we go. All right. So, we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at another stonk. Right over mia. That's what we got going on here. So let's take a look at another stonk right here. Let's take a look at ATHA once again. ATHA, how's ATHA doing? It's slowly moving its way on up, breaking through the resistance line at $6.96 right over MIA. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's breaking above that resistance at $6.96. Has to break above $7.94 for it to be so much mexy to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, let's take a look over here. All right. So, ATHA up 72% and climbing ATHA. Let's take a look over here, moving its way on up. We called it this morning right there. ATHA breaking the high once again, up 71%. All right. There we go. So, got that going on right there. All right. Salmon says it'll never recover. Strive ASST. Pull up the chart. Yeah, I'll take a look at ASST. ASST is a crowd favorite. Not me personally, but, it is a crowd favorite. So as of now, it moved its way on up, then kind of dropped its way on down. So we'll see what happens with it, truthfully. But honestly, right now, it could be either a downtrend or a descending wedge, one of the two. So that's what we got over here. So it could be a descending wedge or it could be a downtrend. So we'll see what happens. It does need more volume for it to be so much mexy to me. Otherwise, meh. So ASST needs to break above the descending wedge over here for it to be so much mexy to me. Also needs volume. So yeah, it needs volume. It is above the VWAP. That's a good thing, but it was very barcoded, very choppy over here, not looking schmexy. So we need to see what happens here. But it is a crowd favorite, so who knows? Maybe people might like bringing it up again. Who knows? I have no idea. But as of now, we'll see what happens with ASST. currently up 4%. Does it have any news? Probably not. We'll see, though. Let's take a look over here. Yeesh. ASST right over here. So ASST, yeah, has a couple of forms that it filed, but other than that, meh. ASST tracks Bitcoin. I figured. That tracks. That tracks with ASST. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, ASST is a crowd favorite that people have been requesting a lot of, so, you know, I keep an eye on it from time to time, but right now, it needs to break above this descending wedge for it to be even remotely interesting to me, and even then, I still got a whole bunch of support and resistance lines that I got to put it through for it to be anywhere near interesting for me. So it has to be all the way up around, I'd say here. Has to break above the support at 84 cents. Has to break above 86 cents, 87 cents, 88 cents, 90 cents. It's got a ways to go before it's even remotely schmexy to mya. But we'll see what happens. We shall see. We shall see. Let's take a look at LHAI. LHAI, let's take a look over here. So LHAI currently low float, very low float on this stock. Very low volume, excuse me. Very low volume. Let's take a look over here. LHAI has 8 million float, which is reasonable. Volume is 187,000, though. Not looking too schmexy over there. Up 42% as of now. So it is slowly curling up on some light volume right there. Breaking above the VWAP again on light volume. So we'll see what happens with this stock. Needs more volume, though. LHAI moving up on light volume. Needs to remain friends with the trend for it to remain friends with the trend and above VWAP. So we'll see what happens with this stock. We shall see what happens. We'll see what happens there, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens there. All right. Let's see. All right. Hold on 1 second. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second. 1 second. Let's get a share party going, by the way. Let's get to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000, ladies and gents. There we go. There we go. All right. So as of now, let's see what we got going on here. Let's take a look at another stock over here. Let's take a look at UGRO once again. UGRO. Let's see how UGRO is doing. Still below the VWAP. Still consolidated. Not feeling too schmexy about this one right now. UGRO still needs to break above the resistance and the pennant. UGRO still needs volume for it to be so much schmexy to mya and curl. But other than that, not looking too schmexy there. Let's take a look over here at LHAI. LHAI. Let's see how LHAI is doing. Still on the uptrend. Still there. Still moving its way on up on the uptrend right there. I'm rooting for it. I am rooting for it, man. I hope it does good. Hope it does good, ladies and gentlemen. Can it curl above 48%? We'll see what happens. LHAI needs to stay friends with the trend right there. So LHAI still moving on up on low volume right there. So has to break above that float of 8 million for it to be so much schmexy to mya. Let's see what else we got over here. What else we got? Let's take a look over here. Somebody requested RILY. Let's take a look at RILY. Riley, B. Riley Financial Inc. Currently very consolidated. Had some moments above the VWAP, but right now is currently below the VWAP. Not really overbought or oversold in the RSI. So, not looking too schmexy there. RILY up 1%. Very choppy, low volume. Not looking too schmexy there. RILY needs volume to break the VWAPA. Not looking too schmexy there. Let's see. We just stretch here, get some water. We have about 15 minutes until the bell, ladies and gentlemen. 15 minutes until the bell. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1100. Let's get to 1100. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, to check out the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so that's what RILY has going on. That's what it has going on. Let's take a look at another stonk. Let's take a look at ATHA again, see how ATHA is holding up. ATHA curling its way on up slowly but surely, trying to test that final resistance at $7.94. Currently moving its way on up right there. So, got that going on, folks. That is what we got going on. All right, so as of now, we got that going on right there with ATHA. Athera Pharma shares are trading higher after the company announced it had entered a trading agreement to acquire the rights to and the development and the commercialization of lasofoxifene. So that's what they got going on right there. Lasofoxifene, that is currently what they're commercializing and licensing as of now. We'll see what happens. Let's see what goes on here. Let's get a share party going on the 1300. Let's get to 1300. So ATHA still curling up. ATHA curling up to test the resistance. So got that going on right there. All right, now let's take a look at another stonk. Let's take a look at another stonk right here. Let's see. All right. So as of now, ATHA is up 76%, and climbing its way on up. That's good. That's good. ATHA up 76% and climbing. Yes, there we go. There we go. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, as of now, ATHA currently on a slight uptrend. We shall see what happens there with ATHA. ATHA. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's see what other stonks we got over here. Let's see what other stonks we got. Somebody requested BULL. Let's take a look at BULL. BULL before we do that though. LHAI. LHAI currently still on that uptrend. Has a 1 million float, 8 million volume. The volume, actually, excuse me, 8 million float, 1 million volume. So the volume right now is still below the float. The volume right now is still below the float, but as of now, it is slowly trying to curl its way on up there. It's trying to curl its way on up there. I could give it credit for that. It is trying to curl its way on up there. It did hit a million, so it's still moving on low volume. We'll see what happens there. LHAI still moving on up on low volume. Can it continue to hold? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Can it stay above the trend? Let's see. Let's see. All right, let's get a share party going. Let's get the 1400. Let's get the 1400, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 1400. Let's take a look at BULL. Somebody requested BULL. Let's take a look at BULL. As of now, BULL has maybe, and this is a very strong maybe because it's not exactly what I'm thinking it is. In fact, I don't think it's this, but it could maybe potentially be a possible cup and handle, maybe. But even then, there's not much cup. So we'll see what happens here. But not really something I'd bank on there, me personally. Man. Doesn't look like it has much in the volume department. Is up 1%. BULL needs volume to stay above the VWAPA. Possible cup and handle pattern. Maybe, but I don't think so. But maybe, maybe. We'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. Chew, thank you. Actually, James, thank you for reposting the stream, man. Thank you for reposting the stream. Much love, much love. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 1500. 1500, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check out the 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. We are currently doing our thing right here. So, yeah. As of now, BULL needs to break above there. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, once you get access to the real-time alerts and scanners, you also get access to a wonderful group of amazing supportive people, an educational community of wonderful, wonderful folks. So yeah, be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check it out. All right, what else we got? What else we got over here? Let's see. Let's see over here. All right. So as of now, we have BULL still consolidated, not looking too schmexy. Let's take a look at BITF. Somebody requested BITF, and then we'll take a look at PAVS. BITF as of now needs to break the pennant. Very low on volume, very, very choppy as of now. So let me take this over here, bot right there, bot right there, bot right there. So we got that going on right there. Boom. Okie dokie. Yes, sir. BITF needs to break the pennant and also needs more volume. So BITF has a lot of indecisive wicks, needs more volume and float. All right. So now that we got that going on and we got that out of the way right there, let's take a look at PAVS. PAVS 2 million volume, 67 million float. Float is heavy, volume is not. PAVS, let's see how PAVS is doing. PAVS just climbing out of. All right, so yeah, that's what we got going on. PAVS trying to curl its way on up, broke above the VWAP a little bit there, so we'll see what happens right here. PAVS. All right, PAVS right there. Let's see. PAVS needs more volume to stay above the VWAPA. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let me add them. All right. So as of now, let's take a look over here at FCEL. Somebody requested FCEL. Let's take a look at FCEL. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to a nice 1600. Let's take a look over here. FCEL, fuel cell energy shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results. Had a conference call scheduled for today at 10 o'clock a.m. and Q4 earnings were released today before the market opened. So right now the stock is kind of doing good. So got that going on right there. All right. So as of now, Let's take a look over here. FCEL above the VWAP, does have some news that they are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results. So they got that going on right there. But again, it is slowly consolidated, just a little bit consolidated right there, a little bit of consolidation. Not looking too schmexy as of now. Needs to hold above the VWAP, needs to stay above the VWAP for it to be so much schmexy to me. Also, FCEL as of now needs to break above the consolidation above the VWAP. So that's what FCEL needs. It's up 15% right now. Needs to really make some moves right there for it to be so much schmexy to me. All right, let's see what else we got. All right. All right. All right. So as of now, let's take a look over here. Let's see here. I was just watching FCEL here and seeing if I could find any more reading material on it. All right. Let's see here. Let's take a look at ONDS. Somebody requested ONDS. ONDS was moving a little bit yesterday. Was moving quite a bit yesterday, so we'll take a look at it. ONDS right now. Looking pretty good. Let's take a look. Ooh, just gotta get that stretch in. Ooh. All right. There we go. So ONDS, and by the way, we are just 4 minutes away from the bell. The bell. All right, so ONDS currently curling its way on up slightly right over MIA. All right. So, yeah, got that going on. All right, so ONDS, as of now, needs to stay above that trend line, needs to stay friends with that trend right there, and needs to stay above the VWAPA, needs to stay above the VWAPA for it to be so much schmexy to me. So ONDS moving up on some low volume right here. Let's take a look at the float. Float is actually 371.9 million. Volume is 80.3 million. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. ONDS has that float in that volume. Let's see about news. All right. So Ondas appoints General Patrick Houston as their chief operating officer to drive operational scale and growth in to drive operational scale and growth in defense and security markets right there. Oh my God, my England. I cannot England right. Yes, cannot England good. All right, let me get some water, actually. Get some water. 2 minutes from the bell, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes from the bell. Yes, brain could not brain good. It be like that sometimes. It is the morning. So, it'd be like that. ONDS. As of now, they have that going on, that they have someone basically that they've appointed to drive operational scale and growth in defense and security markets. All right. They also appointed Brigadier General Patrick Houston as the COO. They have a 4 million defense and Safe Pro complete. They completed their Middle East pilot program, demonstrating advanced demining capability with AI-powered hazard identification right there. So we got that going on right there. All right. So, all right. So as of now, let's see what we got going on here. So, let's see about PAVS. PAVS. All right. Oh, actually, before that, let me just write. ONDS needs to remain friends with the trend right now. Very heavy, very heavy. Not looking too schmexy there. ONDS needs to remain friends with the trend. All right. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 1900, 1900, and the bell just rang. It made the ringy dingy. It make the wee woo. Yes, sir. There we go. Come on now. Wee woo. There we go. ATHA. Let's take a look at ATHA. How's ATHA doing? Come on now. ATHA. ATHA. All right. Slowly trying to move its way on up a little bit. Let's take a look at ATHA here. Again, Althera Pharma shares are trading higher after the company announced it has entered into an agreement to acquire the rights for the development and commercialization of lasofoxifene. So it's got that going on right there. That's what it's got going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. So ATHA, as of now, is moving its way on up, doing its thing right there. So yeah. Yeesh. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1900. 1900, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Let's get to 1900. Let's get to 1900. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So as of now, ATHA currently doing its thing, staying above the VWAPA, staying friends with the trend right now. We'll see what happens with ATHA. As of now, ATHA is doing its thing. ATHA currently above the VWAPA and moving up. There we go. So ATHA, I'm kind of rooting for it right now. Can it do a high test? We'll see what happens. EHTH has a float of 29 million, volume of 173,000. So we'll see what happens here. EHTH, let's see over here, has, let's see, a bit of an uptrend right here on low volume. EHTH, eHealth shares are trading higher after the company updated its full year 2025 total revenue guidance, to $540 million to $560 million from a prior range of $525 to $565 million. So we got that going on. What's going on? What? Oh, okay. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look. Yeesh. All right. So EHTH needs to move. It's moving up on low volume. Moving up on low volume. Let's take a look at AKAN. How's AKAN doing? How my peoples at AKAN doing? AKAN moving above the VWAPA. Moving above the VWAP. Broke the double top as well. So it's got that going on right there. All right. So let's see here. All right. So as of now, AKAN curled above the double top, broke the double top, now up 92 cents, 22%, has some unconfirmed H1 earnings due in 12 days from now on to December 30th during the market hours. As of now, though, it broke above the double top and is trying to move up a little bit more. AKAN moving up, broke the double top. All right. So that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. How's ATHA doing? It looks like it's moving its way on up still. ATHA up 86% and climbing. Can it break the high? Can it do a high test? Can it do a high test? ATHA high test. Let's see what happens there. ATHA high test. All right. So, as of now, ATHA has a high test going on here. It's trying to break above the resistance at $7.95. So ATHA high test, ladies and gentlemen. High test. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So as of now, that's what we got going on there. Let's take a look at another stunk over here. But before we do that, ATHA. Okay. So let's take a look over here. I'm just reading through this thing over here. All right. So as of now, ATHA, all right, currently moving up, trying to do a high test here. Can it break this little double top right here? Has a bit of a double top forming right here. Needs to break above it for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Otherwise, man, All right. So as of now, let's see what else we got here. What else we got? What else we got? Let me add them. Let me add them right there. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. All right. So let's take a look over here at ATHA. Trying to curl above that double top. There we go. ATHA trying to curl above that double top. I'm watching you, ATHA. I'm watching you, but I know the moment I take my eyes off of it, it might actually move up some more. So you know what? I might just take my eyes off of you, ATHA. How about that? How about that? All right. So ATHA trying to break the double top. We'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens. Let's take a look at UGRO, UGRO breaking above resistance, bouncing off that double bottom right there, testing the VWAP right now. So it's kind of doing its thing right now. All right. All right. So as of now, it broke above the 42-cent resistance line and is testing the VWAP at a nice 43 cents. Can it break above it? We'll see what happens. UGRO curling off a double bottom, broke resistance, and is testing the VWAP. Yeesh. So, got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Right there. All right. There we go. All right. So, let's see what else we got going on here. What else we got? What else we got? Let me add them. All right. Let me see here. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 2100. 2100. Let's get the 2100, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Somebody requested NUAI. NUAI. All right. Let's take a look at NUAI. All right. NUAI currently shooting upward over here. Had a bit of a shot upward. All right, let's see about the floating volume. For NUAI. NUAI has a 51.5 million float, 524.3 thousand volume, so it's low volume as of now. With NUAI, we got that going on right there. Let's see what else we got. So for NUAI, there was news that came out about yesterday that basically is not good news. So, yeah, not looking too schmexy there. Not looking too schmexy right there. Nope. All right. NUAI. Let's see here. Let's see. NUAI currently on an uptrend right now on low volume. So NUAI on an uptrend on low volume. There we go. ATHA. Let's take a look at ATHA because it is moving. ATHA currently, as of now, moving up, broke the top, It is now up 93%. 93% right there. 94% right now, has a new high at $8.21. 94% up right now. 95% broke the high at now at 95%. Can it keep climbing? Can it keep climbing? Come on, baby, keep climbing. ATHA, ATHA. Now up 95%. Now up 95%. All right. So got that going right there. That's what we got going on. 96% right there. Keeping an eye on it right now. Again, has news 99% right there. 99%. 100. There we go. ATHA, new bagger. New bagger. Give me the pen. Pen. There we go. Pen. Pineapple pen. Pineapple. Apple pen. Yes, sir. 100%. Bah, right there. ATHA. We called it, baby. ATHA. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of money. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of Parabolics. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of money. Yeesh. All right. There we go. ATHA currently up 100%. 100%. New bagger. Called it, baby. Called it. Yes, called it on the private Discord. All right. We called it earlier in the morning. ATHA. Called it earlier in the morning at around, there we go, 6:05 a.m. Called it at 48% at 6:05. There we go. Yep. Moving back up again. It's testing it again. It's testing. It's testing. Oh, yeah. That's the sound of the Parabolics. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of money. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the Parabolics. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of money. Yes, sir. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out that 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different. And the early bird gets the cash money. Yeesh. All right. So, yeesh. 1 second. Right here. Let me just put this here. Bop right there. All right, there we are. Woo! Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Yes, sir. All right, there we go. Bah, right there. Wanga. Woo! All right, so there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that's pretty much it for me, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yeesh. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our trial for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. You'll get access to an amazing community, an amazing educational community, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to check it out there. Man, it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And to top it off, what makes us different from most Discords, you might be asking yourself? Well, we actually have tools, ladies and gentlemen. We got tools. education. We got the education, we got tools, we got educational courses and things of that nature in the Wealth Builders. We have exclusive content for the Wealth Builders, and we have content for our real-time alerts and scanners people, who all of which have their own communities and things of that nature as well. It's awesome, ladies and gentlemen. It is awesome. So be sure to check it out. It's educational Discord with an educational community. A lot of good stuff there. A lot of tools, a lot of resources, a lot of good stuff like that. Only $9.99 for the first 4 days. So be sure to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check it out. It's practically a no-brainer. Because, who doesn't like extra tools in the stock market? I know I do. All right? Knowledge. Knowledge all day. And knowledge is power. Ooh. A little cold out there. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, much love. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. And, of course, if you want access to our private Discord, again, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. You can find us on our YouTube channel, where we're doing lots of live streaming and videos and stock analysis and shorts at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on our X.com, a.k.a. Twitter, where we do lots of live streaming, lots of stock reviews and stock analysis at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on Twitch, where we do lots of live streaming at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us on TikTok, Tiki Taki, a.k.a. the Tac. The Tac. Yes. You can find us there at DBL Nicks. At DBL NICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money, and you'll find us normally doing lots and lots of shorts and stuff there as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yeah, that's what we got going on there, folks. So, much love. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Be sure to be on the lookout for Power Plays with the Coach Meister General, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check out the Power Plays show, which is coming out at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is always out there Monday through Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what it is basically it's hosted by the legend himself, Coach Nick Money. ATHA, by the way, up 100%. It's hosted by the legend himself, Coach Nick Money, as he basically goes through Power Hour. And basically looks at the stonks, gives his honest analysis of the said stonks, and then, he evens it out by basically winding down and playing some Fortnite, getting some dubs, doing some cool stuff there. All right. And he basically, looks at these stonks, calls them before anybody else, and to top it off, it's a wonderful, wonderful show there. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. I do the co-starring there, and yeah, when he's not doing the power portion of the show, he's doing the play portion of the show, playing some Fortnite and getting some dubs. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check that out as well at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section for that as well. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to check us out on our X.com and follow us there. And be sure to check us out on our Twitch and give us a follow there as well. Much love. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. It's Double Nicks. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Sometimes she gets shot at the cannon and she goes, wee! Other times she likes to party and go to Arby's and watch videos of puppies and kitties. And also, you throw in the stock market, she'll find them A, B, C, Ds. She did find a couple of stonks like BIXI, ATHA, UGRO, and of course, ISSC. We call her DBL Moms! Hey! All right, so that's what we got going on, folks. That's what we got going on. Much love. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful